I'm not really sure how that factory Lando destroyed on Sullust had any impact at all on what was going on in the Empire, but Iden seems to think it had something to do with
All
Jakku.
Republic ships to Jakku. The whole Imperial fleet is there, minus the equipment they would have received from Sullust. I expect my father will be there too. But catching him is
I
no
guess we
longer our
just
priority.
kept them from getting a
This
few extra
battle
weapons.
could be the end of the war. Let's get in, and we do what we can to help.
Now here is the Battle of Jakku. I just kind of wish it were bigger in space. A few Star Destroyers is not at all how I envisioned it as laid out by Aftermath Empire's End. It was much, much bigger.
Carabast. I'm picking up the stress.
There's the favorite swear word of Zeb from Star Wars Rebels, Karabast.
Cover the sky. Shriv and I will help on the ground.
Hold on a moment. Iden. Make sure you come back.
Make sure I have a ship to come back to.
Hey, Shriv, I hope you survive this incredibly dangerous mission as well. Thank you, Del. Your friendship means everything to me.
That's another one of Shriv's best lines. The banter like that just makes me wish we got more time with all of the characters. There goes another Gonk droid falling victim to this game. I wonder what the count is. It's like 3 or 4. So, just why? Why did the writers have such a vendetta against Gonk droids? Did a Gonk droid hurt one of them in the past?
We'll check him out. They're done.
It kind of seems like we popped into this fight very late. Maybe that's why the skies were so clear when we came in, but as the Star Destroyers crashed, they sent out walkers, and that's where we're headed. We're gonna try to help out some crashed survivors and take out some walkers.
Let's take him down. Fighter is down.
By the way, this entire mission has a ton of Easter eggs in it if you just kind of fly around and listen. There's references to Lost Stars and Empire's End. It's a lot of fun, but you just have to fly around and listen to the comm chatter, so if you haven't done that, I would recommend it.
Captain, we're landing on your position.
Thank you, Commander. We were shot down on our way to Carbon Ridge.
We'll get you there.
Lindsay says they were shot down on the way to Carbon Ridge, and that is where a secret Imperial weapons facility is located. I think that's actually the observatory on Jakku. I mentioned that back when we were on Pilio. But Jakku has an observatory as well, and I do believe that the secret Imperial facility is that observatory. In the book, that's where Gallius Rax was leading the Empire, and there is a self-destruct system that would have ripped apart the planet, and it would have destroyed both Imperial and New Republic forces, and that is probably happening right now, but it's handled by another team. I don't think anyone else really knew that that was even an issue that had to be dealt with. I like how 2 people showing up has just changed the tide of battle. No one could get to the macro binoculars until we showed up. And you can hear that Iden sent out a call to Starhawk Command. Those are the New Republic's new capital ships. They should be in space. I was hoping that we would see them in the campaign, but I don't think Lucasfilm is ready to define their exact look yet. I don't know why, but just pretend that when we flew in, there were a bunch of hatchet-shaped capital ships up in the air. But the ship Starhawk Unity is the one actually delivering these orbital bombardments. And that is a ship that was specifically mentioned in Aftermath Empire's End. The whole Starhawk line of capital ships was created by Chuck Wendig for Aftermath Empire's End and the Battle of Jakku. There's not a whole lot more to talk about in this fight, so I'm going to jump us forward a little bit.
Sure, what about it?
I'm going to go ahead and pretend that that gonk droid that fell out of the Corvus earlier is this gonk droid right here. I'm glad you're alive, buddy. If you're curious about the entire Battle of Jakku and what went down, not only like here, but as told by the book Lost Stars and the book Aftermath Empire's End, I would highly recommend either reading Aftermath Empire's End, that's the most complete version of the story, or I've also done a video about it, so you could just check that out.
This is Starhawk Unity. Sounds busy up there.
A fight this size? It's everyone for themselves. Best thing we can do is focus on what's down here.
Not bad. So, what happens if we cross paths with your dad?
We've spent so long trying to track him down. I really don't know what happens if we find him now. We should focus. He's not the mission.
Phantom Squadron inbound on the Empire's ground defenses. Wedge, Snap, take out those cannons and keep us clear in the stars. We're working on getting the Ravager out of this fight.
Nice job, Versio.
So there you could hear some callouts to Phantom Squadron, Wedge and Snap Wexley. That is also from Aftermath Empire's End, and they're talking about taking the Ravager out of the fight. That would be the Super Star Destroyer that crashes on Jakku. It's the same Star Destroyer that Rey and Finn fly through as they are trying to escape the TIE Fighters in The Force Awakens.
I know this was my idea, but how are we gonna shut down that hangar?
We get inside and search the wreckage for remote detonators.
I'm still not really sure why we have to sneak in here and take out this hangar. I think it has something to do with the attack on Carbon Ridge and the bombers causing trouble. I'm doing my best to be sneaky, but, you know, this never really goes well. I think I give up here in a second. Yep, being spotted. Might as well throw a grenade. I'd like to thank whoever put an E-Web in an offensive position for us instead of a defensive position for them. Why would you point this into the hangar? Anyway, it's nice for us.
Detonators here.
That's not gonna be enough.
Keep an eye out for more. That's all of them. We got a clear path to the hangar. We just need those detonators. More detonators.
More explosions!
Time to shut down the hangar for good.
This TIE Fighter probably thought he was gonna escape, no problem. Just ran right into us.
Heal me up!
Whatever Bacta abilities this droid has, it's... I mean, I know it's just a video game mechanic and not something to be used in actual stories, but it's so overpowered. I mean, put this droid on everybody. It'll take you from 0 to 100 immediately.
Bet they didn't see that coming.
this hangar already looks pretty well shut down. I don't know that there were any more ties left. I think that was the last one we just blew up.
Detonator planted.
I'm actually just gonna skip back to the sky because the firefighting here is just a delay.
I'd say we did.
Triv, regroup with the Corvus. Del, find out where else we can help.
Good job down there. Captain Lindsay and his men are taking Carbon Ridge right now.
Couldn't have done it without you.
Or me.
How's it going up there?
Hard to tell, but I think the Empire is losing.
I think you're right. I can feel it. It's almost over. Today, the Empire dies.
I know it's been months, maybe even coming on a year since her defection, but she was with the Empire for so long. I just wish there were more time to explore how the Empire changed, because I do think it's perfectly reasonable for her to want to see the Empire go down in its current form, because that's exactly what Ray Sloane wants in Aftermath Empire's End. She doesn't like what Gallius Rax is doing, and she wants to take him down. So, by the way, that's where Sloane is right now. She's on Jakku at the observatory, killing Rax, and trying to stop Operation Cinder, or at least what's left of it. She's trying to stop the destruction of the Empire, and the destruction of Jakku as a whole.
We've got another TIE squadron inbound, but something's different. They're coming right for you.
So, time to deal with Gideon Hask once and for all.
I knew you couldn't pass up this opportunity.
Believe me, you and Del are the least of my concerns today. There's more going on here than you understand. Squadron!
So, he talks about how there's more going on at Jakku than we understand, which again hints back to Empire's End. And again, if you're curious about that entire story, I would recommend reading the book or watching my video about it, but it does sound like he knows exactly what's happening here, that the Battle of Jakku is meant to destroy the Empire, and also destroy the Rebellion, or the New Republic, if it can. But really, it's more about getting rid of the Empire, wiping it away, because Palpatine felt that if he died, then the Empire wasn't allowed to go on without him, which is a very petty move. I think Lucasfilm just kind of wanted to wrap things up and get rid of the Empire as quickly as possible so they could start making the transition to the First Order. But that is what Hask is referring to. Also, I don't really know why Iden so desperately wants to save her father. He literally just sent bombers and Hask to kill us. And in the book, Inferno Squad, she says she straight up hates her father. But, you know, we're going in regardless. I'm always kind of like, come on guys, if a pilot's ever hit by turbo lasers, like, you're better than this. You're more agile than a turbo laser. Hey droid, how about you keep flying instead of adding more weight?
Close one.
Forgetting about motivations on why Iden is here, though, I do think that this fight is awesome. Running along the hull of a flying Star Destroyer is a cool idea. I'd absolutely love to see this map in Deathmatch, like, if you're, or in a Heroes vs. Villains, or somehow. I just want to be able to be a Jedi and force push stormtroopers off the edge. That'd be so much fun. I also like how the stormtroopers are just so ready to come out and shoot at us. Like, it's always been a possibility that someone could board the outside of a Star Destroyer, so we better have, like, a door ready to go so we can all get out there.
We need to get my father off the ship before it goes down.
This whole scenario, now that we're inside, it's very reminiscent of the book Lost Stars. The climax of that book is the Battle of Jakku, and Rebel agents board a Star Destroyer, and first of all, their attack is thrilling. Like, just that segment of the book alone, I want to see that as some sort of short story, or I always likened it to the film The Raid, where like a group has to go in and take down this apartment building full of criminals. I would love to see an action movie like that set in Star Wars. But there's a Rebel agent on a Star Destroyer, and he has to save the Imperial woman that he loves before it crashes.
You don't have to go down with it.
This is a rescue attempt. I politely decline.
We have to go now.
Rax expects me to leave, too. This is where I belong. I gave my life to this.
Now, the Admiral said that Rax expects him to leave. And Rax, like I said earlier, is the head of the Empire right now. And at this point, he's probably dead, but he put out an order to assemble some of the worthy among the Empire to meet up in the unknown regions. So Versio, he got the invitation. I'm sure Hask did as well. But Sloane, after killing Rax, she goes out there, and all the remaining Imperials find the Super Star Destroyer Eclipse. That was the Emperor's flagship. And that's all we've seen of the story so far, which is just too much of a tease. I need to see the Eclipse again. I need to know if it's the same as Legends or not, which I doubt, but the name alone and just knowing that there's another Super Star Destroyer out there is so exciting.
I'm coming down.
Iden's escape pod. That's even how the characters in Lost Stars get out right before their Star Destroyer crashes. I wonder if she was stuck in there. How long was she in there? Could she not get the door open? Was she unconscious? I don't know.
It's quiet.
Is it quiet? There's a Star Destroyer crashing behind you.
It's over. We won.
Also in the book, even though Masamita signs like a peace treaty, fighting here still went on for a good while. Like, the Imperials here did not want to give up. I like that the droid went and got Shriv. Like a dog. What is it, boy? What'd you find?
Droid tells me you're alive.
Looks that way.
I wonder if they changed the droid's programming to be more friendly after the defection, or maybe the ion pulse on Naboo fried its circuits. I don't know. You know, thinking back to Rey Sloane and how she heads off into the unknown regions, wouldn't it have been crazy if Iden decided to do the same at the end? Like, if she joined the rebellion to stop the Empire from going down an admittedly insane path, but then when she saw a new option, maybe she ran into Sloane, what if she defected again? I'm really just looking for any excuse to see the Eclipse again. It would have been fun if that were how the game ended, but that's the end of the Battle of Jakku, and that's where we're going to stop today. If you want to watch this series over from the beginning, just check out this playlist here. If you haven't already, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and consider checking out my Patreon page. As always, thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.